So as you can see today, we will start with unit or yes, in fact, it's a unit in a module, and it's 3.3, titled "Welcome to Perfect City." Interesting. Oh, an interesting title. What do you think this lesson is going to be about, Ikram?
I think that they will give us a lot of cities and talk about the facilities they have.
Maybe. Well, that's interesting. Let's discuss these questions together. They're telling you in the first question, have you ever been to any of the cities in the photos? Let's see the cities in the photos. The first one is Dubai, this one. Wow, interesting. Let's scroll down and see the other two cities. Yes, we have Paris. And the last one is Mumbai, India. Have you been to any of those cities?
No.
Me too. I didn't go to any of these cities. But I heard a lot about Dubai, and I watched a lot of videos. It's a very famous city.
Yeah, it is.
So what do you think, what do you think might be good about living in them? And what problems might be there? Let's start with Dubai.
I think it will be like a modern life. Everything is new and technology in every single thing. I don't know.
Yeah, what about Paris? What do you think about, like, what are the advantages of being there? And the problems too, not just the advantages.
Actually, I don't know a lot about Paris. I just know about Eiffel Tower. So I think it's somehow good. Like the nature there is like wonderful.
In Paris?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the last one? Mumbai.
Where is Mumbai? Like, in which
It's in India. I believe it's in India.
It's like a cheap country, like everything has a cheaper price, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. What about the problems? I think Mumbai would be very crowded for me.
Yeah, it is.
It is crowded. You can see how crowded it is from the picture. What about Paris?
Paris, maybe.
A little bit expensive, perhaps?
Yeah, it would be pricey actually.
Yeah, touristy. Touristy. It's like this city is just for tourists.
Yeah,
I don't think Paris is totally about. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I sorry, I interrupt you.
I don't think Paris is entirely about tourists. I believe the city is can be beautiful too, but I mean everything mostly in the downtown there, it must be very expensive because millions of tourists go there every year.
Yeah, and even the language, I don't know how to speak French, even Indian.
Yeah, that's correct. French is a little bit difficult. Indian too. I guess they speak in India, people mostly speak English. I think so. What about the difficulties in Dubai? Yeah.
It's really hot.
Yeah, it's really hot. For me, it's gonna be really, really hot. I'm complaining about the sun here, and today it's like 25 or something. Today, the weather here in Istanbul is just perfect. Okay.
I don't know, but in the morning, the degree in Saudi Arabia about 40 sometimes. Yeah, now it's 40, I think.
That's so hot.
But there is an AC. That's okay.
Yeah, the ACs there are yeah. So let's see now. Number 3. What is good and bad about the city you live, where you live? Oh, okay. That's a really interesting question. I have no idea where do you live. I just know that you live in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, like in the east of Saudi Arabia, in the Gulf Sea. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So here it's hot. You can't like walk in the street. You have to ride a car. Sorry, to use a car. That's maybe you can we can say it's a like a bad thing. You have to have a car. I mean, there's no
Yes.
buses or yeah, there's no like public transportation.
At all. No public transportation at all.
Just a taxi. Nothing at all.
Interesting. Interesting. Wow. So there is no bus, no train, no
No,
metro.
they are planning to do, but until now there's nothing is like in the real like
I
yeah
guess that's because everybody has a car there, right?
yeah
Like a car with an AC. That makes
yeah
sense.
exactly. When you enter like a new job, they give you a car.
Oh, so people there get into the job like and they just give them like a car like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. It's very different here. I mean, here almost everybody uses the public transportation except for the ones who they like independently without any company having them like a car or something. So yeah, a typical person here would just commute using the metro. What's good about here? Well, the weather is kind of, yeah, acceptable. The views, again, it's a very lovely city. However, like the bad side, it's a very crowded city. It's very crowded city in here. I mean, you take the metro and especially in the rush hours, it's suffocating. Okay.
Okay. Here, actually, here in Khobar, it's not crowded at all.
Not crowded. Interesting. Yes, it differs. I mean, here 20 million people live in the city. 20
Oh.
million. It's like, yeah, it's like a country. It's a very crowded. It's a very crowded cosmopolitan city here. Yeah. What other problems connected with urban living can you think of? Oh, okay. So, do you have any idea what's the meaning of urban?
Yeah, it's I think the opposite of rural.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So
Yeah.
other problems, we were discussing problems about cities, right? So what other problems do you think there are like about urban living, connected to
Like
urban living? Yes.
I have an idea, but I don't know how to explain it. Like when there's a lot of people and a lot of cars, like the oxygen or the atmosphere will not be like fresh.
It's about, yeah, maybe. But I think it's all about the smoke in the air, like the pollution,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
about the people breathing the oxygen.
No, I no, I'm talking about like when there's a lot of people, they will have a lot of cars, then these cars will uh like have smoke.
Yes, yes, this is the issue of like the climate and like the global warming and the pollution. It's a very serious issue nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's read about, they're telling us, welcome to perfect city. Interesting. Let's see what this perfect city is. So we have an article here and we have paragraphs. We can read it together. So we can just share it together. I can let you start. You can start with the first paragraph. Go ahead.
So I read the yellow, you read the green.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to Perfect City. Environmental psychology looks at the ways in which we are affected by our surroundings. Almost every aspect of the built environment, from the color of hospital walls to the type of grass used in parks, can have a dramatic impact on crime, health, education, commerce, and happiness. BBC Focus magazine reports on how psychologists are teaming up with designers to build safer and healthier spaces.
All right. Now, classic trick in midnight. Sorry. Yes. Let me just zoom in. It's not very clear from my book. Yes. In the mid-90s in Montreal, it was discovered that playing classical music through the public address system would drive away crowds of loitering teenagers and cut crime. The idea soon caught on. Now, classical music is played in over 60 London Underground stations. Interesting idea. Okay.
I have a question, teacher.
Yes.
Montreal,
Loitering?
no. Yeah, this word, and also I would ask you, Montreal in Canada, right?
Montreal in Canada, yes. I believe they tried this trick in Canada, and then London just liked the idea. In these big cities, this is very interesting. In these big cities, the municipality really controls the city. So the municipality maybe will have like studies, will connect to other countries. So it's very normal in the West that one municipality, get an idea from another country. And perhaps the other, maybe in like Manchester, they don't take that, you see?
Yeah, what does like loitering mean?
Loitering is like crowded of loitering teenagers. Here, loitering teenagers, those teenagers who stand without any reason, around.
Oh yeah, got it.
So to loiter is to stand or like to wait someone or somewhere without any obvious reason. There is no reason. They're just hanging around and perhaps looking for trouble. Teenagers. All right, your turn.
Okay, stop signs. Sometimes less is more. Towns such as Bonn in Germany have found that the best way to slow traffic is to remove all road signs and markings. Without these guides, drivers have to slow down and negotiate. Is that right?
Negotiate.
Negotiate, okay. Negotiate rights of way with other drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians.
Yes, pedestrians. Do you know the meaning of pedestrians?
Maybe the people who walk around the...
Exactly. People who walk. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, interesting idea as well. Now, dipping distractions. Researchers in Manchester found that pickpockets took advantage of pedestrians, distracted by confusing environments. With visual clutter removed and space made easier to navigate, pedestrians are more aware of their surroundings and less likely to become crime victims. Okay, interesting.
Teacher, can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Like in stop signs, this paragraph, what does negotiate mean?
In your paragraph, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to there and see without the guys, drivers have to slow down and negotiate rights. When you have negotiation, it's the same here, like to discuss something, okay?
Yeah. And what does clutter mean? Like in dipping distractions?
Clutter is like a lot of untidy things.
Okay. Like a mess?
Sorry?
Like a mess?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, visual clutter, like visual confusion.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, yeah, delays stress. Your turn.
Delays stress. A study of rail commuters found the highest levels of the street hormone cortisol among those who perceived their journey as unpredictable. Real-time transport updates, such as a text message, letting you know exactly when the next bus will arrive, have been found to reduce stress.
Interesting. A study of rail commuters found that. Okay, interesting. Now they're discussing hormones. Right. What do you think? Do you have any questions here?
Yeah, what does perceived mean? And the third line.
Who perceived their journey unpredictably. Perceive is like to get something.
Okay.
Yes, perceive. Perceive, yes.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, here it's like it means to notice or become aware of something, or perceive their journey as unpredictable, like to know their journey as unpredictable among those who perceived, yes, to understand or like think about. All right. Now let's move on. Okay, now let's move on to 2A. And here, let's look at some of the words that we just used from, or like, just let me make sure, 1, 2, A, B. Okay, I think, yeah, yes, we're good. Now we're here. Let's go to 2A. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes, now we have 6 words here and we have 4 sentences. We need to use 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we need to use these words in their correct places within these 4 sentences. Let's discuss the words together. Then I will let you use them in their correct place. So the first word we have here, or the first vocabulary, is amenities. What do you think the meaning? What do you think the meaning of this word is?
I have no idea.
Well, I will tell you. Amenities means like features, the features that make a city or a place pleasant or comfortable. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, amenities. This is the meaning of the first word. Features that make a city or a place pleasant or comfortable. Now, the next word we have is infrastructure. Have you heard of it?
No, I know what the structure means, but infrastructure, no.
Infrastructure, it means like the basic systems that serve in a city. The basic systems of a city, okay?
Yeah.
And next one is congestion. Congestion, I believe you know it. It's an easy word. It means like to be very crowded, very crowded. Like when we say traffic congestion, it's like traffic jam. The informal words like traffic jam. It means like you can't really move. It's very crowded.
Yeah.
Next one is abandonment. Yes, abandonment. From abandoned, yes, right?
Yeah.
Abandonment, yes. It means to leave someone, like from leaving something. Abandonment. All right. After abandonment, we have tolls. Tolls, have you heard of this one?
No.
Tolls are like roads, or like it's the money you pay for paved roads and bridges. There are some public roads that are free for everyone, but there are some specific roads and bridges that people pay money for. This money is called like tolls. Okay, it's like a fee you pay to take a specific road.
Yes.
And the last one, it's easy, regeneration, to regenerate something. Okay, It's now your turn. I'll give you a few seconds so you can look at sentences 1 to 4 and to fill in the correct vocabulary. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Have you finished?
Just a second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. So let's do it together. Let me have my marker here. Okay. The first one. The best thing to do with loitering teenagers is to give them
Amenities, maybe?
amenities, yes, such as sport facilities. Thank you. All right. Now, next one. The city can't host a major international event because it doesn't have the.
I think infrastructure.
That's correct. Infrastructure. They like the systems and the things that it needs. All right. Number 3. Now, the of rundown old building used to be a real problem where I live, but the area has undergone urban. So what do you think?
I think the abandonment of rundown old buildings.
Yes, that's correct. Number 3, the abandonment of rundown old building used to be a real problem where I live, but the area has undergone urban regeneration. So now it's full of nice shops and houses. All right, the last one. There's always traffic. Congestion. Yes, like traffic jam. We should have, and the last one is tolls, means like the paid roads. So people pay to drive in the city. Well, interesting. It was like some interesting information here. Do you have any questions here?
No.
Okay, let's move on. They're telling us which 3 words in the box contain suffixes that turn them into nouns. What are the nouns root words? Interesting question. Have you ever thought of it?
Yes.
So let's see what are the words that they have like the first. What is the suffix?
Like the add to the root of the word in the end. I mean.
Yes, thank you. I did. You were breaking, but I heard that like you said the root word, and this is a very interesting information. Well, let's have an example here. Let's have just one example or two examples. For example, congestion. Congestion is originally from the root word, which is congest, the verb. Sorry, yes, it's the verb. That's right. And the same for abandonment. It's from abandon.
Yeah.
And generation, regeneration, it's originally generate, and so on. Okay. Now let's listen to someone who is proposing an idea to improve an area of their city. Now, what is the idea? This is a question for you. You should answer after you listen. And what is the speaker proposing to do now? Okay, first let's listen, and then we will complete the notes together. If you felt comfortable, you can listen and write, like complete the notes at the same time. Let me go for speak out, and this is, oops, sorry. This is 3.5. Right. Here it goes.
Unit 3, Recording 5. Just to give you a...
Can you hear the recording?
Yeah.
Great.
bit of background information. Harrogate Council has announced the creation of cycle hubs as part of its cycling strategy for the next 5 years. Now, the aim of this project is to set up cycle hubs. What are hubs? Hubs are areas where innovative ideas for cycling can be piloted and where resources can be targeted to increase cycling. So, what we plan to do is to introduce these new hubs in the centre of Harrogate, located in areas with a high concentration of cyclists. This solution will help us to create a safer environment for the cyclist. Cycling is an incredibly efficient mode of transport. It's fast, it's environmentally friendly, and it's cheap, with, of course, the added bonus of keeping you fit. So, basically, what we're proposing to do is to get everybody around the table to discuss the merits and demerits of whether or not the idea of a cycling hub in the centre of Harrogate is a good or a bad idea, basically. So, does anyone have any questions?
Okay, obviously, perhaps we need to listen to it one more time. But the first things first. Let's now discuss what is the idea and what are the cycling they are hubs, or he calls them hubs. So what do you think?
I think they want to increase cycling in the city.
Yes, it's like cycling center where they can have some facilities next to each other, right? Now,
Yeah.
Let's listen again and fill in the gaps, okay?
Okay.
Unit 3, Recording 5. Just to give you a bit of background information, Harrogate Council has announced the creation of cycle hubs as part of its cycling strategy for the next 5 years. Now, the aim of this project is to set up cycle hubs. What are hubs? Hubs are areas where innovative ideas for cycling can be piloted and where resources can be targeted to increase cycling. So, what we plan to do is to introduce these new hubs in the centre of Harrogate, located in areas with a high concentration of cyclists. This solution will help us to create a safer environment for the cyclist. cycling is an incredibly efficient mode of transport. It's fast, it's environmentally friendly, and it's cheap, with, of course, the added bonus of keeping you fit. So, basically, what we're proposing to do is to get everybody around the table to discuss the merits and demerits of whether or not the idea of a cycling hub in the centre of Harrogate is a good or a bad idea, basically. So, does anyone have any questions?
Interesting. Okay, so let's fill the gaps together now. So can you read sentence 1 for us?
Yeah. Harrogate Council to set up cycle hubs in the next 5 years.
Thank you. So 5, the first word is 5. Next one.
Idea to increase hubs use, maybe?
I don't think so. What they wanted to increase is the bike or bicycle or cycling use. So my answer would be bike use, like bicycle.
Yeah, doesn't they name it like don't they name it, sorry, like
the entire idea, I'm sorry to interrupt you, the entire idea of building hubs, having facilities, is to increase the use of the bicycle, because they wanted people to use bicycles more.
Oh, so hubs is not the name for the bikes or cycles.
The hub is like the place where they put the bicycle.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the name.
No, it's the place.
Okay.
All right. Hubs to go in the city.
Yeah.
I guess he said city center. Center, you can write it ER in American or RE in British. Both correct.
Oh.
I'll prefer it in the American way. All right. We'll make the
Environment.
All right. The safer for cyclists. They mean something else. They are where are they doing the project? Look, hubs to go in the city center. So it would be in the city.
Oh.
Will make the city safer for cyclists. Now, benefits of cycling: fast, good for environment, and good for
a way to transport. Oh, sorry.
They said something about the money, the cost.
Yeah, and also a way to transport, I think.
I think it's cheap. It's for environment, cheap, and good for fitness. It's cheap. Here are your answers. Did you get the answers?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. All right. Now, let's continue. They're telling us put the phrases A to G under the correct headings below. So here we have A to G headings, and we have here like we have here like sentences or like half sentences, and we have their headings. So I want you to look at the headings, read them, and connect the information with the sentence. I'll give you an example. For example, yes, go on.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No problem. Sorry, you want to say something?
No.
Okay, so let's have a look here. They're telling us introducing your proposal. First, this is a proposal is like if you want something, you write a proposal. Why do you want this thing? And you support it with your evidences. So let's have a look here. They're telling us just to give a bit of background information, and here F would be the answer. To start with, I'm going to talk briefly about, okay, and yeah, and then seating the proposal, then you continue. Did you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, go on. I'll give you a few seconds, then we will do it together. You don't need to give like complete ideas. We're just using some kind of language here.
I'm done.
All right, let's do it together. So first one, we discussed introducing your proposal, and I told you F to start with, I'm going to talk about, and then you put the idea, whatever you want to talk about and propose. Then stating the proposal, the aim of the project is to, what a synonym can be for that?
Yeah, I think A, the main goal, objective of our proposal.
Thank you. Yes, that's correct. A, the main goal or the objective of my proposal is etc. 1, 2, 3. Now this is F. Now let's go to the third one. Discuss your idea. What you plan to do is, again, what do you need to use here?
I think G, what we are going to build, develop, come up with.
Thank you very much. Again, what we're going to build, what we're going to develop, and etc. Justifying your idea. Here you need to like give the, you know, what you need to do. This solution will help us to, again, you give the idea. So which one?
E, this idea is visible because.
That's correct. Now listing the benefits, you tell them why this is good. For example, here in the first instance, this would mean we will get 1, 2, 3. Which one?
I think B, the short-term, long-term benefits include.
Thank you very much. That's correct. Now, next one, summarizing your proposal. Here you need to summarize your proposal. So basically what we're proposing is to do, again, 1, 2, and 3. They're repeating. Which one would it be the same?
C, to sum up, we are proposing.
Correct. And the last one, soliciting questions. So does anyone have any questions?
D, is there anything that needs clarification?
And that's correct. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right. I believe this is the grammar session, like this is the grammar lesson for today, is to just use the expressions. So let's go together to page 100. A proposal. Today's lesson is entirely about making a proposal. This is easy and very useful at the same time. If you're planning to apply for a scholarship, especially for like students in their late or senior high school students, they really need to learn how to make proposals. Here, they're just giving you some phrases, or yeah, there are some phrases that you can use to introduce your proposal here. For example, just to give a brief or just to give a background information about my proposal. And here, of course, you start. Again, you can say to start with, I'm going to talk briefly about, and you put what you want to talk about. Then there is something called stating your proposal. Say what you want. What's the aim of your project? See, the aim of my project is to do 1, 2, 3. Sorry, not to do. To do is something else. Describing the idea and the process is something else. The aim of my project is to, here you write what your project is entirely all about. See, the main goal of my the objective of my proposal is to do something like this and that. Again, you describe your ideas. You write. You say like, what we plan to do is, here you write the steps. We will do 1, 2, 3. We're going to build, develop, come up with. Here you write what and how we're going to do something specifically. Now, justifying your idea, say why you will do that. You say this solution will help, and here you write what the result is, what your project is going to help. The idea is feasible because we have this, we need to do that. Okay. Listing the benefits, here you write what the result is. In the first instance, this would mean, and you can say in another way, you can say the short-term, the long-term benefits include, and you write the conclusions. Finally, this is very academic. Yes. This is not ending. When you say to sum up, you're not ending. You're summarizing. You're summarizing. You don't just come up with something new. You just summarize what you discussed in all the steps. This is in writing an essay, a paragraph. Yeah, this is how the English style is. They just summarize or restate what they said at the beginning. So basically, what we're proposing is to, and you say what you originally wanted to say, but with other words. To sum up, this is another way. We're proposing 1, 2, 3. Again, what you said previously, but with other words. You shouldn't repeat your words. Otherwise, definitely if you don't want to sound like, boring, you're not. I mean, keep repeating their words, they sound right. And finally, you ask if they have any questions. Like if you're writing on paper, you can write, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Or if you're in person, you can say, does anyone have any questions? Is there anything that I need to clarify? Or if there is any need for clarification. Yeah, I believe you know all of those expressions, but still. Do you have any questions here?
Miss Teacher, what does like justifying mean? Does that mean to give evidence or something?
Justify, when you justify something, well, you say why this thing is to be done, okay?
Yeah.
We say in Arabic, yubarrir.
Yeah. And what does soliciting mean? Soliciting, is that right? Questions?
Yeah, well, it's like questions here. Well, the last, it's like to ask someone or something about details, about the details here in the questions. If they have any questions, like sum up questions, okay?
Yeah.
All right. You're welcome. Let's have our 10 minutes of break, and after a break, we can continue.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, teacher. It was quite something happened. I'm sorry for that.
No problem. No problem. Feel free. So before break, we discussed making a proposal or making proposals, and we had some steps there, like introducing your proposal, starting the proposal, and describing it, then justify your ideas, After that, list the benefits, what's coming up there, and summarize your proposal eventually. Now, let's move on to the next page, to 3.3. And here, you need to underline the correct alternative to complete the proposal. So here you have a proposal, and you need to underline the correct alternative. You have here, like, if you can see here, for example, background information or information background. Okay, can you see them?
Yes.
Go on, read it and underline the correct alternatives, please. Okay, my pen is ready, and here, background information number 1. Let's do it together, or I'm sorry, I won't trust you. Take your time. Okay. Okay, let's do it together.
Okay.
You can start reading.
Should I start from the start?
Yes, just to give.
Oh, okay. Just to give a bit of background information, we are computer programmers who have traveled all over the world and have contacts everywhere. To start up,
To start up or to start with?
maybe to start with is
To
more
start
logical.
with. Yes, logical. Go on, continue.
We are going to talk briefly about our plan for a website to organize student trips abroad. The main goal of our proposal
Okay.
is to get funding for this internet startup and the target, maybe.
All right. The aim of the project before the result, like, yeah. The aim here.
Then the target means the result.
Well, the target of the project, I think they say the aim. Here, the aim is more logical.
Okay. Is to help students travel abroad for life-changing trips. Okay, what we plan to do.
That's correct. Continue.
Is to create personalized trips according to the client's interests. We're going to come up with a menu of travel options linked to the client's profile.
Correct. Great. Continue. The idea.
This idea is feasible because students would
Correct.
Everything online and they love traveling, but they also want to avoid the problems of independent travel. This solution.
Okay, the solution, correct. Continue.
Will help them to release their dreams. Here are the benefits. In the first case, our idea. Correct.
In the first instance or case, what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
I said case, but maybe it's
The
not.
first instance.
What does instance mean?
Instance is like example.
Okay. Yeah. Our idea would mean the client didn't have to organize anything. Secondly, there is the long-term benefit of security.
Long-term benefit, correct. Not term, long-term benefit.
Yeah, we will plan safe itineraries.
Okay, I can't see it very well.
Okay,
yes.
and we will always know where the traveler is. So basically, what we are proposing is to tailor holidays for the client using our contacts abroad. To sum up, we want to provide amazing experiences for future generations, and you can be a part of this by providing startup funds for our site.
Right, thank you. Itineraries are the people who travel. Yes, people who travel from a place to another place. Safe itineraries. We'll plan safe itineraries. It means like safe traveling from a place to another place. And we will always know where the traveler is. Interesting information. And here we have all the answers. Do you have any other questions about the passage?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Now let's move back to where we stopped with 3.3. All right, we're almost done with the unit, and after that we will move on to the next unit, which is about if you remember, the fourth unit in the module is about a DVD, and today's DVD is very interesting. It's about a very interesting city. Now let's move back here. They're telling us some of the sentences below contain extra words. Cross out the extra words and tick the correct sentences. So it's either you tick it, it's correct, or you find the extra words and you delete them. You have 8 sentences. Go on. We'll do them fast.
Okay. To start up with, I'm going to talk briefly about Manor Studios. We can delete I'm going to talk briefly about.
I don't think so. I think we can delete up. We start with.
Oh.
Go on, the next. Yes.
Okay.
No. Say it. I'm going, you can delete it. Can you imagine? Let's imagine the sentence without it. Let's say to start up with, to talk, it doesn't work. I'm going to talk about, right?
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah. Okay. The main goals, objective is to, objective you can say. No?
The main goals is to, okay, but it's more like it's even more formal to say the main objective. If you delete the goals, the main objective, the main reason. Okay, go on, number 3.
The aim of the project is to use the building as a film museum.
Aesthetic.
No
extra words.
Yeah,
no
okay.
extra words.
What we plan to do is renovate and paint the main studio. We can delete both.
Yes, exactly.
This idea is too visible because the buildings have potential. We can delete 2.
2. Thank you very much. That's correct. Yes.
In the first of instance, our plan requires €1. Million.
The first of instance. I think so.
It's wrong, I think.
The first instance, we only say the first instance, not Okay, the long-term benefits include bringing jobs to the area. I'm sorry. What do you think? Do you think we have any extra words here?
No.
Yeah, it's just a tick. So that's our plan. Is there anything that needs the clarification?
We can read that.
Yes, just need clarification. Okay, good job. Great job. I believe you mastered the expressions.
I have.
I'm sorry. I have I have some allergy. It's spring allergy.
Bless you.
Thank you. So now let's move down there. They're telling us suggest modifications. Okay, modifications like, let's see. Oh, sorry. Okay. Let's look at phrases A to F here, and they're telling us which are used to suggest modifications or changes, like changing to a proposal. And let's answer questions 1 to 4. So just let's see, modification is like changing, right? Let's see which of those expressions here we have suggesting modification, suggesting changing, okay? Got it?
Yeah.
Let's see the first one. I'd like to propose a compromise. Do you know the meaning of compromise?
No.
Well, if there are like how to tell you? Well, a compromise is as a verb is to give, like, I believe propose a compromise. Here it's a noun. So it's like an agreement between two people in which like one side gives up some things for the other side. Okay. And both sides at the end are happy. Like negotiation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they are at the beginning, they are like have a different point of view than at the end. They are agree.
So yeah, there is some modification here. Yes. Let's try to come up with a solution. Again, do you have modification here? Suggest a modification?
No.
Let's try to come up with a solution. No modification here. They're just trying to get to come up with something. So let's look at it another way.
Yes.
Do you think here they have modification? Maybe. All right, let's see the next one. How about if we combine our ideas? Definitely a modification. They're definitely suggesting changing something. Is there any way we can reduce the costs? Again,
no.
But here they're suggesting to reduce the cost. That means they're changing something to reduce them.
Yeah, I got it.
Sorry?
I said, yeah, I got it.
Next one, is there any leeway regarding the schedule? Thing.
Teacher?
Yes, can you hear me?
Like your voice lagged for a second, but what does leeway mean?
It's like the amount of freedom you have. The amount of freedom you have. Is there any leeway regarding the schedule? Like, is there any kind of possibility that we can change it?
I think, yeah, it does help.
Definitely asking for modification. Yes, suggesting a modification. Interesting. All right. Do you have any questions there?
No.
Right. So now let's move on to our next unit, London. Oh, interesting. A very interesting city. London is the capital of which country? Do you know?
Yeah, England.
England, and I believe it's the capital for the United Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's a very, in fact, I don't need to tell you about the city. We're gonna read like a piece of article, and we're gonna watch a video. It's a DVD about London anyway. So what do you think when you hear of London, or when you think of London?
I remember like Big Ben clock they have.
Yeah, that tower.
And even the bus like with two, I don't know
Oh
how to
yeah,
say it, like it's a very big bus.
the
It
two
has two
floor
stairs.
red
Yeah.
bus. Yes. So what would you expect to see or to hear about in the video about London?
Maybe we'll talk about the history of it and how it changed.
Maybe. So let's read the short piece of article or introduction about London, and then we're gonna watch the video together. Sorry. Okay. If you want, you can read, or I can read, depends. Do you want to read?
No.
All right, I can read. One day in London. By 2050, it is expected that more than 3/4 of the world's population will live in cities. With more than 8.6 million inhabitants, London is a world in a city, a world-class city to live and study in, a city where over 300 languages are spoken. But what drives its success? And how can it take the best from its past and turn it into a dynamic future? In One Day London, we meet the man who has revolutionized the iconic red double-decker bus. Take a trip to the annual Wimbledon Championships and learn about what inspires London fashion designers of the future. Interesting. Let's watch the video, and then we can discuss those questions together. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Right.
London is a world in one city. London is a world in one city. More languages are spoken here than any other city on Earth. It attracts more visitors than the capital of any other nation. It's the UK's financial powerhouse with a global reach. But it's a sector under pressure like never before. It's a city redolent of history, yet home to some of today's most innovative minds. This is One Day in a City, which takes the best from its past and turns it into a dynamic future. It's 8 a.m. and the markets are now open at the London Stock Exchange. This high-tech world sits at the heart of the global financial community. Markets around the world light up as they open. Innovate or die could be London's watchword, even in the most traditional of industries. in an elegant corner of London called Savile Row. It's still possible to find the hot shave, the tailored suit, and the bowler hat.
My name is Paul Frierson. I earn my living as a coat maker. I call myself a tailor.
Paul never tires either of his trade or of his city.
London is the heart of my country. Every day, something new is happening. It's a lovely place to be. Wonderful museums, beautiful architecture, and very nice clothes.
Travel to SW19, one of the most famous postcodes on the planet, and you will find an event that places London centre stage year after year. For Roger Federer, the most successful tennis player in history, there is nowhere quite like Wimbledon.
The history we have here, the surface. Back in the day, you used to have 3 Grand Slams that were on grass. Now this is the only one that still remains to be on grass, so that makes it very unique and very special to play for all the players. It is a wonderful place to come to.
Over 25 million people visit London every year. It's the world's most visited city. It's no surprise that London's public transport system is one of the busiest and largest in Europe. And one vehicle above all has become the international symbol of London, the red double-decker bus. The classic 1950s double-decker, the Routemaster, with its conductor and its hop-on, hop-off platform, was taken out of service in 2005. So for the first time in 50 years, a new design has been commissioned.
My name is Thomas Heatherwick. I'm a designer and you're in the workshop of Heatherwick Studio. Many people come to London specifically to see the Houses of Parliament, go across Westminster Bridge and to go on a red double-decker bus. And so we had the role as a studio to think about how a bus could be for this city. There were many things that we realised we could improve.
$18 million later, the new Routemaster is on the streets. It's 3 meters longer than the original and has 3 doors and 2 staircases, making it easier for passengers to board. With its hybrid engine, it's also quieter than other buses, and the passengers love it too. It's a successful balance of innovation and tradition. It's 6 p.m, and London's next generation of style superstars are preparing for the graduate show. Around 85% of the UK's fashion designers are based in London. It's an industry which contributes over $30 billion a year to the UK economy. From Savile Row to Carnaby Street and beyond, it's the energy of London itself that supplies the inspiration for this most dynamic of industries. As London's nightlife takes over, this feels like a city you can make in your own image. It makes the most of its traditions, but constantly looks to its future. This has been One Day in London.
Wow, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. I mean, the city of London, the entire, well, honestly, all of the UK is really interesting for me. I don't know, maybe you didn't find it interesting. So what do you think?
Yeah, actually, just a second. Yeah, I find it actually wonderful.
Well, yes, London is really wonderful, but I know it's very expensive. So I don't know, maybe one day we can visit there.
But it deserves.
Now
that.
let's discuss. It does, yes.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing that they do it deserves that expensive if we went there.
Yes, they work very hard, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you can hear the word future, it looks for its future. They repeated it many times in the video, and that's very true. I mean, in the UK, they keep innovating in like almost everything. They told you, even in the traditional like trades, they're key, like they stay innovating in them, which is very interesting. That means they never stop learning.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So now let's go to 3 here. They're telling us complete the information. Let's complete the information together. Okay. All right. So let's see here. The first one. What they're telling us. They're telling us London's is the UK's financial.
City, maybe?
What do you think? It's financial powerhouse. Powerhouse.
So what do they mean by this?
They
Financial
mean
power?
that it's like the economical or the financial heart of the UK.
Oh yeah, I heard in the video they say that it's the heart of the UK.
Yes. So SW19 is one of the most what postcodes on the planet.
Maybe none, the most none.
Most of the one of the most famous. Yes, one of the most famous postcodes on the planet. Now over million visit London every year. Over 25 million people visit London every year. They talked about this a lot. Industry contributes over $30 billion a year to the UK economy. Which industry? They talked about it at the end.
I can't remember.
Okay, it's fashion. They keep talking about fashion at the end. All right, no problem. Now we'll ask you some questions and you can answer them. So what do we learn about London's financial sector? What did you learn about that?
Like, teacher, can you please tell me what does sector mean?
Sorry?
What does sector mean? Sector.
It's like sector is like a section, okay, like financial sector, like here. How to tell you? Well, for example, there are many sectors in one country: financial, agriculture, قطاع, we say in Arabic.
Yeah, so what do they mean by financial sector?
Financial, the money.
Oh, okay.
We learned that the financial sector is the power of the UK economy, if you remember in the video, and it has a global pressure, and it's like it's the market, like its market is very global, and it opens from 8 a.m. And it's a heart of a global financial community.
Yeah, okay.
We don't need to watch the video again to answer all of those questions. It's okay. Now, let's forget about the questions since you didn't pay a lot of attention to the details. No problem. Now, let's discuss these questions together. What impressions did you get of London? Yes. What impressions did you have of London?
Like, I think it's like the whole like civilization in London are educated and like have a higher degree in their life.
Yeah, high standard living there. Okay.
And about the city itself, I think it's wonderful. I hope to visit one day.
Hopefully. How is London similar or different from the capital city in your country or in the country where you live? It's very different.
Yeah, it is. There's no way to compare between them actually.
Yeah, it's like totally different.
Yeah.
Do you think capital cities are representatives or they are like representative of the rest of the country?
Maybe, but not all the time.
Not all the time. Yes, that's very true. Okay, interesting. Let's move on down there. All right. Now, let's listen to two people from Canada, like one of them from Canada and the other one is from Argentina. And just let's take some notes, okay? Don't answer any questions. Just listen and take notes. I'm gonna ask you about their conversation. We can discuss it together.
Okay.
Can you hear
Unit 3.
Can you hear
Recording
the recording?
6.
Yeah.
Unit
Okay.
3. Recording 6.
Canada has one of the highest standards of living in the world, and long life expectancy, and it's one of the world's wealthiest nations. So it's really quite a nice place to live. And on the downside, I suppose there's in a lot of areas you have to deal with bad winter weather. So not in all places, but in a lot of places we get a lot of snow and really cold temperatures in the winter, and that can be quite difficult to deal with, although you do get used to it. I would describe Canada as geographically massive. I think it's kind of difficult to explain how big the country is. It's the second largest country in the world, apart from Russia, or next to Russia. And yeah, so it's just really, really, really big and very, very diverse. Every province is different. And, to visit Canada, you really have to go far and go for a long time to really appreciate the vastness of the country. If I was making a documentary, I'd probably focus on things like, we're very, very lucky in Canada to have a huge range of fresh water, Great Lakes, rivers, everywhere, literally. We have 3 coasts, the Pacific coast, the Atlantic, and the Arctic, and we actually have the longest coastline in the world. So you get incredible diversity, everything from wildlife to bird life, and also diversity in climate. So, we have temperate rainforests, and we have deserts, we have Arctic prairies, we have volcanoes, mountains. Almost half of Canada is covered in forests. Some similarities between the United States and Canada that I can think of is that we both have a strong history and a long-standing history of Aboriginal peoples, and we share the longest border in the world.
Well, undoubtedly, one of the best things about Argentina is the values, people and their values, how they view life, and we tend to attribute quite a lot of sort of value to our family. We care a lot about our families and our gatherings, and we kind of gather on Sundays and we have a big barbecue and everybody comes and we all talk about our weeks and what we've been up to, and it's a good chance to catch up. We also care a great deal about our friends. We celebrate Friends Day, which is a big celebration, and we have a lot of fun and we give each other cards and thank each other for our friendship. So I think that's kind of the best thing about Argentina. People are very warm, very caring, and we've got a great sense of solidarity. I guess if a lot of people think that Latin America is just Latin America and that all countries are the same, and like Brazil and Argentina are the same thing, but we're very different we've got, like, I guess if you could put it in 2 words, Brazilians are very upbeat and very happy, and Argentinians we've got a sense of longing for the old world and this melancholic view of the world, and so the outlooks are very different, and hence the culture is very different. An interesting way of seeing Argentina would be, if you were to film a documentary, it would be through following one person, like through a day or through a couple of days, because then you start getting a sense for all the things that go on in the country. And like, for instance, when I used to teach, it was like I used to start my day not knowing what my day would be about, because there's always a strike, there's always a picket line, there's always all these difficulties you have to overcome throughout a day. But at the same time, you can see how resourceful people are when dealing with difficulties, and how relaxed and laid back they are about them in a way. So it's an interesting way of living. It's a constant struggle, but at the same time, keeping your smile.
No problem. Don't feel pressured. Like if you didn't remember all the details. So what were they talking about?
Argentina and Canada.
What about but I mean, we're talking about something specifically. I believe it was a documentary, right? The first one, she was, So the first one about Canada, what would she like to mention in her documentary?
She said she will mention it has a strong history. That Canada has a strong history and has the longest coast in the world.
I think it's the longest border, and she would like to talk about the diversity and the nature of the country, right? The lakes and the...
She said the huge range of fresh water.
Yeah, huge amount of fresh water. Thank you. What about Argentina?
She talked about friends and families that they care about.
Yes, thank you. The values, the people's values there. Yes. What else?
She said they have strong solidarity, I think.
Yes, that's right. They like to stick together. So what about different parts of Latin America? Is it the same or different? Like, for example, is it like Brazil, or it's different from Brazil?
It's different. She said that people think they are the same, but it's literally different.
That's correct. Thank you. You're like, yeah, that's really interesting. I thought they're the same, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah, let's do the last thing for today. Let's read this proposal together. So here they're giving us a proposal, a music of our heritage. Let's read it together, and that would be the end of our lesson. So go ahead, read for us.
This documentary would examine the importance of the National Folkloric Festival, National, it's right, de la Majorana in Panama. The Majorana is a small guitar, and the music and dance associated with it form an important part of Panama's cultural heritage. Nowadays, though, fewer people know how to make the instrument or how to play it. The aim of the documentary would be to film the 4-day festival in order to raise awareness of the Majorana and the consequences of losing this tradition in favor of more modern music.
Thank you. During the festival, groups from all over the country gather and enjoy Panamanian folklore. There are musical performance, dances, singing, bullfights, traditional competitions, and an ox cart parade. It is a colorful and spectacular occasion. The documentary would highlight the atmosphere of the festival, filming music and dance performances, and interview young and old visitors to gather opinions about the importance of the, I think it's in Spanish, Millarona, because they don't pronounce it, and of protecting the traditional customs that are an integral part of Panamanian life. This is a very good proposal. Well, they didn't have a summary to sum up. They didn't say that, but still, it's good. They said what they're gonna do there. So I hope today's lesson was helpful. And here we finished unit 3. Do you have any questions? I heard maybe you wanted to ask about something.
Yeah, please. Do you know where is Panama? Like, in which continent?
Panama is a country in Latin America, as far as I remember. Let me double check for you. Panama country. I remember it's Central America. I told you, yes. It's in Central America, near Mexico and these countries.
So in Arabic, we name it also Panama like this, or it has a name?
I think so. I think we call it Panama, but we don't have P. Yeah, it's next to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
It's in Central America, yes.
Thank you
All right.
so much, teacher.
You're most welcome. I'll see you tomorrow. And yeah, we will start a new unit tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too. Bye for today. Bye-bye.
Bye.